Have you said, I wish I had enough time or I don't have enough time for this? That's something that the entrepreneurs say over and over again. Today's episode, I feature Mario Scian from Influence, a startup fighting one of the most challenging problems, youth unemployment. Throughout his career, Mario stood out for impressive highlights. He co-developed a flagship CSR program for the Maersk Group, Denmark's largest company. He co-developed the corporate fundraising strategy for Argentina's fastest growing non-profit. And he developed and sold an international online marketing and sales business that reached 2.3 million people since 2009. He's not only a very interesting professional figure though. Having a strong international profile, he studied at 4 of the world's top schools, speaks 5 languages, and has traveled to over 56 countries. Good afternoon, Mario. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Mian. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Mario, you're coming from Argentina, a country on another continent with a totally different culture. What brings you to Denmark?
That's a good question. I came to Denmark around now 3.5 years ago, something like that. And I first came to do my master's. I came here to study. And the reason I chose Denmark was that it was a really good program. It's a top school. And I had the opportunity to study with people from over 20 different countries in my own university, in my own class. And it was an amazing opportunity in that sense. And as well, I mean, coming from South America, like things are not as structured and things are not so concrete and specific as things are in Denmark. And just by moving here, I feel that I have become so much of a better person because, I mean, this is a developed country. It's one of the richest countries in the world. And just by being here, you just learn so much from the culture. So I think it has been a great ride, and I'm really happy to have chosen Denmark for my studies and to stay here and work professionally here as well.
What did you study at Copenhagen Business School?
So it was a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship.
And what is your background previously from Argentina?
So I had studied business economics, mainly business economics, a bit of finance as well.
Okay.
I studied that in Austria as well for a bit. So that is my general academic background before moving to Denmark.
I see. As I mentioned before, you were working in one of the most successful corporations in the world, which is Maersk. What made you leave the job and move into the entrepreneurship startup environment?
So that's a good question as well. I think that it's important to put it into perspective. I was a startup guy before joining Maersk. So it's kind of my path has been startup, then corporate, now startup again, and who says maybe become corporate again in the future as well. You know, I think I'm motivated by learning, and I'm motivated about getting as much intense learning curves and intense opportunities as much as I can. And by the end of the beginning of 2013, I was already, sensing there were so many possibilities outside of Maersk that I could profit so much. And one of them as well was that I had the opportunity to move for 3 months to the US, and I couldn't do that if I had to stay in the company as well, right? So I left Maersk, went to the US as well, worked for a small projects before and after, and then I just decided, okay, this is something I can do, this is something I can create, and let's fight you for employment. So.
Okay, I see. Well, where did you work at Maersk? What was the department's name?
So I was working for what's called Group Sustainability. So it's a function. I mean, for those who don't know, Maersk is a company with around 100 and many thousand employees all around the world. Has offices almost everywhere. And the function I was working on had the responsibility for all the corporate responsibility, all the environment, climate change, and safety procedures at a general level for all the company and for all its business units, from shipping to terminals, oil and gas. So I was working in the CSR part, in the corporate responsibility specifically.
Okay.
So
now, Mario, moving back to startups, they say that all startups experience setbacks. Can you tell me about a setback that you experienced thus far and how you overcame it?
Yeah. Okay, startups experience so many setbacks. I mean, you can't imagine. It's part of the game, but it's part of the learning curve as well. And one good example maybe is that for now in Influence, we started with this project maybe full steam ahead in September or so. And at first, the idea of the project was that I don't want to bore you into the details, but we wanted to create a platform to match people with corporate executives and create companies together. And the first project we had was that we wanted to create a company that was kind of a spin-off company for the oil and gas industry in Argentina, and use that as an example for what we could do. I don't want to go so deep into the details of what we were doing, but we wanted to create this company. We had everything, we had the team in place, we had like the mentors, we had everything in place to actually go and do that. But for things that were mostly beyond our control, meaning that one of the persons that was working with us, like leading this, had big life changes and he had to quit, and we were so dependent on this person. We, like all our plans, started to crumble, and it's like, okay, wow, we have been working on this for so long time now, and then we just need to reset, go back to zero, and think about something else. And that was hard because we needed to, let's say, let go of some people, and it's really sad when people want to work with you and then then you don't need them anymore because the project you first believed in is not going to happen, and you need different skills. You need to go back to the drawing board and create something new, create a new idea. So that was tough. But I mean, the way you overcome it is that I remember I sat down and I wrote maybe 15 to 20 pages of all, I mean, it was not that long, but I mean, like in terms of time, but all the mistakes we did. I mean, in Influence, we went from being one person to 20 people in less than a month. So like all the lessons from how we did it, the things that we did good, the things that we did bad, and then we say, okay, we taking all this wealth of lessons, of course, not making the same mistake twice, and focusing on something that's more immediate and more concrete, so we can then start building up. Perhaps we were just aiming too high from the beginning, we just aim a bit closer to the ground, perhaps.
What is your goal with Influence at the moment?
So the goal of Influence is to help create 1 million jobs for young people. That is my dream. Like, we had a concrete plan of how to get there. Now we have to change a little bit. But then the goal of the company and the reason it exists is not to make money. I'm not to move my profits. I just want to feel that our work can make an impact into the lives of so many young people out there. And yeah, what we're working on now is always in that direction. We just want to help and inspire young people, giving them the career tools they need, or giving them the opportunity to create a company for themselves, do something but actually integrate in the job market. I mean, I hate youth unemployment. I think it's a so big crisis, and I think that I can do something about it. I will.
That really sounds ambitious.
Thank you, yeah.
Mario, what are in your opinion the best and worst parts of being an entrepreneur?
Okay. As for the best part of being an entrepreneur, I think, again, I'm motivated by learning. I like learning a lot. And when you're an entrepreneur and you work, you put your heart into it, you learn a lot of everything. I mean, I have done from HR to financial models to marketing materials. I mean, you are a bit all over the place, but I mean, it's an intense learning opportunity. It's something that you can use for anything you do in your life. And I am an example of someone who went to corporate and then came back and then can go to corporate again, because the wealth of experience you have as an entrepreneur is amazing. You work a lot, but at the same time, I think that's good. I mean, when you're young, when you have the opportunity, I mean, why not? I mean, if you like what you do. And then when you're an entrepreneur, you have the opportunity of fighting. I mean, fight for your dreams. I mean, it's so good to feel that, for example, with Influence, I literally came back from the US, and then I said, okay, I want to create this. It was just me, and in one month, I got 20 people to actually help me create this, and we created a movement, changed the life of people. It's really cool. It's something really powerful. But I mean, of course, you have flip side, and the life of an entrepreneur, it's not for everyone. I mean, it's very tough. Whoever says that it's easy, or whoever wants to sell you like this idea of being an entrepreneur, change the world, is go and do it now. It's fucking hard to be an entrepreneur. Like in Influence, we had like almost 20 people working with us. We had no problems of money in the sense that nobody was strangulated that they couldn't make money or they needed to make money right away. We had a strong network, a strong plan, and we had a good office and a lot of stuff. And yet it's very hard for us as well. So being an entrepreneur, I mean, I think challenges are good, and it's good to have some challenge in your life. But I mean, being an entrepreneur, it's so many ups, so many downs. It's not for everyone. I enjoy it, but at the same time, sometimes I feel like, wow, my God, this is so hard, so tiring. So it's not for everyone. And yeah,
What are the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur in your opinion?
I mean, depends on the entrepreneur. Like as a as a person, entrepreneurs always need to be the chief salesmen of their dreams. Like they have these famous quotes of Steve Jobs having this reality distortion field, meaning that he could convince you that this was the most amazing thing in the world. And if you see most entrepreneurs that like the big guys, like they have this distortion aura. They have this. They really sell you the dream of what they do. That's really important. And that's something I try to do with a much less success so far. With the idea of helping fight youth unemployment. You need to have something vision and transmit it to people. You need to have. You don't lead. You need to lead by inspiration because you need to be the lifeblood of your organization. And then the ability to learn and the ability to keep, learning from feedback as well. Like trying something out, moving on, doing another thing, trying out, and of course, perseverance. So it's very hard to be a successful entrepreneur. As they say, like 99 out of 100 entrepreneurs fail or something like that. So, and even myself, I have been fairly successful on my first startup. So I think I have been lucky in a way. But actually, like it's a testimony that you need to keep going. You never need to give up. You need to keep pushing because if you don't do it, nobody else will. So maybe those three are the
Okay.
perhaps in my opinion.
Okay. Now moving on to some career advice or
Yeah, sure.
the career area. They say that personal or career growth comes through big challenges. Can you recall one experience that made you grow a lot in a short period?
Good question. Let me think. Good experience. Yeah. For example, this is not a startup experience, but it was when I was working for Maersk, a corporation. And I was leader of an internal network of young people inside Maersk. And we have finally had the opportunity to get the CEO of the company, who's probably one of the most powerful businessmen in Denmark, to have a presentation for us. And we also convinced him to hear proposals from young people, such as me, during the presentation. And I was going to pitch one of these proposals myself. I actually helped set up the event in a way, so of course I would have this opportunity. And I learned two big lessons from that. Because I was working so much and with so much. First, my boss was not my boss direct, but my boss was in panic that I would be presenting a business proposal related to our area to the CEO of the company. Because if the CEO of the company would say, no, I don't like this, then it's kind of the world collapses for my department. I didn't know that. And it was the same with the other proposals. It was kind of the whole organization was all the senior management and all the people who were all over the place, very stressed that this group of young people were presenting something to the CEO. And I didn't know about it until then because I'm a bit of a faceless. For me it was exciting to sell to this guy. But you see how stressed and how sensible people get the closer you get to power and the closer you get to top management. And I had to spend so much time stressed because people were calling me all the time and saying, what are you doing and this and that, and it's like, man, it's good, I need to sell this idea, it's good. But it was so much overwhelming pressure. I was like, wow, I didn't know it was like that. It was, corporate reality. And the second sense, of course, it was at the same time trying to build a proposal that was worthy of this person's attention. So I set it up or helped set up a team of young people that, helped me, with the financial models and helped me create the presentation, do the different scenarios, and actually go on there and pitch it. I think the presentation went good. Like, he suggested to include my proposal in the risk mitigation strategy of the company, which is good. He gave some feedback as well, that what I could have done better. But it was the whole in maybe a few weeks of absolute intensity and then took me to the next level. You want these type of experiences. And for me, this one was one of them for sure.
How did you feel afterwards?
I was good. It was good. I remember we went partying afterwards, so it was pretty good. And at the same time, it's this good feeling of fulfillment when you work hard and things pay off. Because many times, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you work really hard and things take a long time to pay off. So when you sit there, when you stand there, and when you deliver and you actually get good feedback, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel that like perhaps what I do actually, or perhaps all the work I do, all this extra effort, and nobody asked me to do this presentation. I did it because I wanted, so all this extra effort, can pay off and can open new opportunities for me. So it's a good reminder that I was in the right track.
Absolutely. What are Mario's top 3 career advice for an entrepreneur?
For entrepreneurs or for everyone in general? Maybe?
For entrepreneurs in general.
Okay. Let me think. Top 3 career advice. I do think in my mind of 3 years or something I say it. First, when you're an entrepreneur, you need to have a good team helping you out first. I made a mistake at the beginning when my first company I was working mostly alone. I managed to succeed by luck, I guess. I was working really hard, I was good at stuff, but I could have done so much better and could have done so much more impact had I had a team behind me. And that's why I try to learn by working in influence. It's not just me, but it's actually a movement, a group of people that run on their own. They're like helping to drive this cause forward. So when you're an entrepreneur, and it's something I learned from other, people that have been much more successful than I have, never go for it alone. Always, try to find a team that can do it together with you. So that's one thing for sure. The second thing is that you need to keep learning and developing yourself. So, and even this goes for career advice as well. The challenges you face when you want to go to a top career track or when you want to be a top entrepreneur are immense. They're much harder than the normal guy or the normal girl would face, especially when you're young, right? So keep on developing yourself, keep on learning, keep going to seminars, meeting people, networking, keep building routines and habits in your life that actually will help you, build towards your dream, keep becoming a better person, keep learning. And I just said it now, but I think that point number 3 as well is networking. It's said that startup founders should do 80% of their time marketing or 70% of the time doing marketing and sales, because that's the lifeblood of business. And as an entrepreneur, I try to spend as much possible time as I can reaching out to people, meeting them, see how I can help them, see how we can build a win-win relationship, meeting prospective customers, reaching out and meeting people. I didn't do that again at the beginning, but I'm trying a lot in the new companies, and it has been paying off fairly well. And also goes for the career as well. Something I tried to implement a few years ago is that I try to have a personal board of advisors from people who have been in my career path, or people who have been where I wanted to go, and routinely meet with them, so they can give you feedback and they can give you, ideas of how you can progress in your career. So always be networking, especially since I realized people are much more open than you think. So not all of them, but most people are out there to help you if you show that you have a good cause, or you have something to show.
How do you network? What are some advices for networking for new entrepreneurs?
Depends on who you want to network. If you want to network among peers, or if you want to network for, let's say, build relationships with people that are further away from you, or further ahead in the line of success. And I try to network mostly, when it comes among peers, it's always about helping each other out. So, for example, in Influence, we have a job portal for startups, and we have been very successful hiring a lot of people for our company. And we're in an incubator with 60, 70 companies here, and we offer them all the opportunity to, we knock to all of them and say, hey, we have this job portal for you, it's free, and if you need help hiring, come to us and we'll try to help you. And people, really appreciate that. They really like the opportunity to have that. That's a good way of networking. It's just a way of giving them without expecting to receive anything, because you will get the payoffs in the future. And in terms of career, in terms of meeting out interesting people, I have been very successful by showing curiosity and being really honest in meeting them and wanting to learn from them. Asking for advice, and then action. You ask for advice, you meet with them, you have a good conversation, and then you write them 2 weeks after and say, okay, I read all the books you suggested, I did this you suggested, I did like that, and then you build a relationship with the people. People are open to young people or ambitious people that do stuff. So as long as you can prove that you do stuff, you make the people feel good by working with you. And if you can help them in any way,
very good advice.
Thank you.
Mario, I bet you met a lot of interesting people, and you must have some mentors. Can you share with me two of your career mentors?
Okay, yeah, definitely many mentors. Let's see. I'll give you two, and I don't know why I think of these ones now, but one of my important mentors was my direct boss in Maersk. He was, but still is. We get along, and he was very inspiring in the sense that he showed me that I always thought I would be a weird person to be in a corporate world because I'm so entrepreneurial. I do so much stuff. I keep building things, and keep pushing the bar forward. And he was like that himself in the company, and he was, building few new things up, building new opportunities for the company. And I saw like how he did it, and he's kind of these persons who are not normal to have in a company, but at the same time, he was always pushing forward, always offering opportunities, and opened my eyes that I could, without giving up my doer entrepreneur responsibility, my personality of being such like that, I could still do it in a company. And besides that, he opened me many doors. Like I had the opportunity to, being very young, sitting at a table with top management from many companies, from UPS, TNT, Agility, World Economic Forum, the UN, and I'm eternally grateful for my boss to taking me to these meetings. I just sat down there writing minutes, writing points, but after some time, the people there respected me and asked for my opinion. And we're talking about people that have 40 years of experience more than I do. And all these people became, in a way, mentors as well, and I keep in touch with them. And like, if I didn't have a boss that would open me these doors, I wouldn't be like there. That's one. And then I would say not a mentor, but someone I found really inspiring and that really pushed me forward at the beginning with my online business is a guy called Chris Guillebeau. He's a famous blogger. I think many people might know him. But I started reading his blog when he was like relatively unknown, and his blog was about entrepreneurship and travel. The guy he went to every country in the world. He's 35 and has been self-employed for like 15 years or something like that. So running different businesses from importing coffee to like doing internet marketing. He lived in a ship in Liberia, and then like it's really cool guy and he has a cool story. And then I followed his blog and how he started being a Mr. Nobody in the, let's say, in the online world, to now having a New York Times bestseller and making probably the biggest conference for young people, like for ambitious entrepreneurs. Like the guy did so much stuff. I mean, like if you see like the amount of production he does, I mean, just one guy. So just raising the bar of, okay, I mean, I had a small blog, right? And it's like when I see this guy who had just done so much out of this possibility, just opened my eyes of how much I can do myself. Like, and then I met him a few times in Norway and then in the US, and I was just so inspired by his story. I mean, the guy just a machine working towards his dreams and working towards his goals, and always up in the game. He's like, when he launched his book, he wanted to make it popular, so he self-financed a book tour for every state and every state in the US and every province in Canada. So I would just like in random places in Canada, random places in the US, just maybe there was one person and he was still there trying to sell the book to this person. So that's called hustling, and the guy was like, wow, respect. And he has been really successful, and he showed me that, if you want to be so successful, you need to work fucking hard as he does. So
where is he now?
He's in the US.
In the US.
Yeah, there's many of these bloggers in Portland in the US.
Okay. Now I'd like to move a little bit into your personal life and find more things about how Mario Scian is personally.
Yeah.
You know that they say that you are what you do every day. How does a day from Mario's life look like? How do you start your day?
So yeah, that's a good question. I'm very structured. I don't know how, it's very structured. So I'll share it with you, my exact routines. I don't know if people should do the same, but it's really has been really working well for me. I wake up between 6 and 6:30, depends, like how much I want to sleep the day before. And after maybe I hang out with my girlfriend for like 5 minutes or so, but after that, dress up very fast, go to the gym, work out for around 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, while I work out, I hear an audiobook, so I always have some kind of audiobook or some new thing going on in my ears while because when I'm not just waking up, right? So working out with audio, come back home, shower, have some really good breakfast, like a good healthy meal, like full of protein and full of organic food, raw organic food to get me strong. Sit down for 5 minutes, look at my goals, visualize, make affirmations, feel myself like, okay, this is going to be my day, and then when I'm done with that, I just write my key objectives for the day, like, okay, today I need to prepare this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. So that's around maybe, by 8 o'clock I'm done with all that, so I'm ready to hit on the day. And personally I have been studying myself so much that I know what I do good in different times of the day. So what I try to do in the mornings is to implement stuff, to sit down and do stuff. Like if I need to, now I'm writing a book, so every morning I sit down and write non-stop in the morning. So that's my do stuff time. After lunch, which I'll try to have also like a good, as much raw, organic and like saladish as possible with good protein as well, like just to feel good and not feel heavy. Do like meetings with people, like after lunch. I feel like it's a good time for me to be social, so I try to do that and batch all the meetings together in the afternoon. And then after that, if I have some more work time, I'll probably do some strategic work because I take the late afternoons as a good time to have a blank sheet of paper and start being creative and start thinking stuff, so I can actually do it in the next morning. And then, that's as for work life. I always try to finish work at least 1 or 2 hours before going to sleep, just to zoom out as well. Hang out with friends, hang out with my girlfriend, maybe now I'm playing a bit of guitar at night or something like that. It's just good exercise. So very structured, but it really works for me. And it's, as you say, like it's what you do every day. So if you want to write, for example, a book, as I want to do now, every day you need to sit around and write like 2,000 words, 2,000 words, 2,000 words, 2,000 words, no matter what. And if you do that, you're going to get things done. If you go to the gym every day, you will get a good body. If you always eat healthy stuff, you will get healthy spirit. So always try to do that.
What do you do in your free time? I know you're traveling a lot. Can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, traveling is definitely a lot of my free time. So you want to know about traveling, or you want to know about my free time?
About your traveling within your free time.
So I actually found that one of the good things about being an entrepreneur is that you have flexibility. You need to work all the time, but at the same time, if you want to go tomorrow somewhere, you can. Nobody can do it. There's no boss to tell you should do it. And what works for me is that I work maybe 6 days a week, almost a whole day, like if possible. Take a day off to zoom out and meet friends and have fun. Or I also meet friends twice a weekend. It's not that I'm so strict, but I normally will do that. And then instead of trying to have rest all the time, I just try to travel at least one place every month. So.
What was the last place where you traveled?
Last time I was in Morocco. I came back around 10 days ago. It was really nice. Had a good time. And then I have a few trips in the future that I'm planning to do as well. I'll see depending on opportunity. But I love traveling. I think it's a great opportunity for personal development, to meet people, to relax and have fun.
To network. To
network as well, absolutely. So depends on the trip. Like in Morocco, it was not the best networking trip, for example. But I'm planning to go to Singapore maybe in a month or two, and then it's going to be a work trip where I actually meet a lot of people. But at the same time, it's still about meeting from people from different cultures, seeing these perspectives. Traveling has opened so many eyes for me. For example, when I was 19, I went to Europe on my own for around 1 month and then 2 months. And that's very strange for an Argentinian because we are from South America. It's not so common for people to go so young to Europe and travel on their own, to places like Poland, which back then sounded so scary for me. We are going to Lithuania. Wow, what's that? Kosovo. Yeah. So it's very scary for some people in Argentina, but I did it, and it opened my eyes that it would be so cool to study in Europe because I met so many people that were having fun and studying in Europe. I found out the opportunity to have an exchange in Austria. Then I loved so much the exchange in Austria that I said, okay, I should do my master's in Europe. And then I came to Denmark. And by being in Denmark, I had the possibility to meet people who have been to the US, studied in Harvard for a few months. I was like, fuck, man, that's really good. How did you do that? And it compounds. You always need to do things in your life that compound on each other. And then that, I mean, it opened me so many. When I look back, I mean, of the travels, it opened so many opportunities for me. Like I wouldn't be like all the things you said at the beginning. I wouldn't be able to do that had I not been traveling and meeting people and making the most of my trips for my career as well, not just having fun.
What's your philosophy of life?
Philosophy of life. Let me think. Okay. There's a quote I like. It says something like, "Someone is always doing something someone else said was impossible, so try trying." So I like this idea that, if you have a big goal, if you have something you want to do or something that you dream about, don't care about what the rest of the world says. If you feel you can do it, just go and do it. Of course, there's certain limitations, but within realistic, I mean, there's a lot of negativity out there, and sometimes you need to be really optimistic for yourself and your dreams. So it's this idea of following your dreams, but then really working hard for it. It's just because you dream about being a successful entrepreneur or work in a great corporation, it's not going to happen just because you dream about it. You need to work so much for it. So that's one thing. But at the same time, always keeping an optimism and keep this big drive to do that. And the second is that my second philosophy is that have a relentless pursuit of personal development. Always try to become a better person, and always try to become like a better professional and a better lover and a better friend and other things. And the way you do that, or the way I do it myself, is that I try to implement good routines in my life all the time. I have not been successful with every routine I tried, but I mean, there's possibilities. As I tell you, my morning routine has changed my life in the sense that every day I start good, and if you start a day good, it helps. Same with if you do other routines, or always try to add new things to your life that will make a positive impact, and do them every day. If you do good things every day that make you feel good or make you open new opportunities, in the long run you might be successful. I mean, honestly, influence has not been a major success yet, but I mean, we're trying to do the right things all the time, and someday we want to pay off. You need to have the patience to do it. But I mean, if you keep doing the right things, at some point you need to have patience, but it will pay off.
Okay, that sounds really, really interesting, and I hope that people seeing this today are going to take a lesson from it. But Mario, it's been so great to hear your story today, and I'm going to urge everyone in the audience to go and type www.influencehq.com and read more about what you and your people are doing, and get in contact with you directly if possible. I'm going to say, Mario, thank you very much for today, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. It was very having the opportunity to meet you.